Welcome to the Blinded Truth Podcast, Truth Shot, where real stories meet real healing. We are your host and co-host, Destiny Vance.
Eric.
Today's episode is titled, Is it Grief or Guilt? There are some emotions that look almost identical on the surface. We tell ourselves we're grieving, but beneath the tears may be guilt. Sometimes we carry regret over the words we never said, the calls we never made, the choices we wish we could change, or the belief that somehow we should have done more. Whether you've lost someone through death, addiction, divorce, estrangement, or simply the life you thought you would have, this conversation is for you. Today, we're unpacking the difference between grief and guilt, how each one affects our healing, and what it takes to stop carrying burdens that were never ours to bear. This isn't just a conversation about loss, it's a conversation about grace, forgiveness, healing, and learning how to move forward without being chained to the past. This episode is brought to you by Destiny is by Choice Support Services, because your journey, your voice, and your truth matter. So
we starting off with so.
Yes, because we haven't done an episode together in a while.
I was just thinking the same thing about I wouldn't have started off with so.
Well,
I
see, why we haven't had an episode in a while and you starting with violence? Let's rewind.
Let me start it off
doing?
then.
Okay, what you gonna say?
Where you been?
No, where you been? Tell the people what's been going on in Eric's life.
Oh man!
Be honest with the people. You've had a lot going on.
I mean, yes, and I mean,
I think what you've had going on has tied to our title today. It was your title that when I told you we had an episode coming up, you gave me the title.
Yeah. Then when you told me what the title was again today, I was like, I really don't want to talk about it.
Right. But now we're here.
Yeah.
See, he does this, y'all. He'll sit here and give me a title, and then the day of, he'll be like, I'm not in the mood to talk about that. And then he think I'm supposed to change it, but we don't change it. We just keep it moving.
But if it was me, I'd be like, yo, what you want to talk about? I would have did it.
So tell the people what you've been having going on.
A lot of stuff, like...
Start with the good.
The good.
Okay. So I do this thing with the kids.
How long has it been since we did a episode together?
The last one we did was 4 episodes ago, where we did it with my mom.
What month was that?
May.
May what?
15. No, it was like May, the beginning of May when we did the episode.
Oh, okay. So I'm asking because if that's the case, I celebrated 3 years of recovery. Yeah. A promotion on my job. I've almost got all my restitution paid.
Okay.
$7,000 to $300. So that, and I'm still clean and sober right now.
That's good.
So that's the good.
What's been the bad? I know some of the bad, but you got to tell your audience what's going on.
The bad is...
And this is not me forcing him, y'all. This is him getting it out.
The bad is my mom having several surgeries and fighting for her life, and me trying to maneuver through that without losing my mind, without hurting anybody, without hurting myself, you know. Because it would be easy for me to take a substance to ease the pain, in which I've done most of my life.
So how has that process been with you trying to, like, process everything that's going on with her, and you got your promotion on your job? Because what he didn't tell you is he is a supervisor, a leader of 27 people. So how has that been? Because I know being in charge of people and you got your own problems,
Well,
and everybody want to act crazy, And you like, not today.
I realized by me getting promoted and me being in charge of so many people that it was for me to find something out about myself that I didn't know. Because I love the group of people I work with. A lot of different personalities, but it's also shows me where I was to where I am now mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Like just trying to adjust and being able to treat everybody the same, have empathy, compassion, being trustworthy, being a confidant to them, being someone they can talk to, and also, I guess being a friend, you know. But in that, I still have to do my job. So I I let them know where my stance is my job first.
Yeah.
Then after that, we can work on everything else. Because in the end of the day, they put me in a position where I have to do the job, and I can't have no favorites. I can't have no picks. And at the end of the day, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than them. And in the end, it's bigger than the company. Because I feel like the product that we put out isn't for the company. It's for the people who buys this product, and I want them to get the very best that I can possibly give them. So.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
How I was when I was working nights, managing all of y'all at nights.
But I didn't give you no trouble.
No, you didn't. But I think a lot of times people don't see the bigger picture like we know the bigger picture, and so they think that you just being hard on them. One of the things I used to get all the time when I worked at Anderson was, you don't like me. I don't like nobody. I'm not here to be your friend. I had to tell a resident one time, I was like, if I'm sitting here trying to be your friend, then I'm enabling you. And what has enabling got you in life? You wouldn't be where you're at today, right? If you weren't able to, and depending on who they were, if I allowed you to manipulate me like you have manipulated things in life, where would they get you?
And he said something, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, when it comes to the Blinded Truth podcast, I know I could do more. Mm-hmm. And I've been fighting the bigger picture because it don't look like my bigger picture. I want to look like.
Yeah.
It's been my way of thinking has been voted down. So I'm being resistant to change and trying to do it other people's ways. When I think my way is the way and the best way, maybe it could work. Mm-hmm. But it's already a system in place that is working. It isn't like, I can't say it's not working because I've seen it go from point A to point B so far, and it looks good. So I just want to apologize on live for being resistant and to say that I will try to get better.
Okay.
Put out more content and be more hands, so I get it, I get the bigger picture.
Good. Well, I have some questions for us to talk about for this episode, because I was like, we get so sidetracked a lot of times with the episodes, because I know you have some ADHD or ADD, but I know for me, I'll get sidetracked because something will come to mind like you.
What makes you think I have ADD?
I mean, I ain't got all of my credentials, but I be diagnosing people.
And just to make clear, when you said I got some questions, I thought it was another one of them. Surprise!
Like I did for your birthday. No.
I had my heart sunk to my stomach.
So you did say something that kind of is one of the questions that's on my paper. And you said that it was dealing with trying to process everything with your mind without using a substance. So how do you know when what you're feeling is actually grief and not guilt disguised as grief?
That's a good question. I've never thought about. I mean, I thought about what the two words meant, but
Because sometimes they can disguise each other as the same thing.
like this is not about my mom. This is real quick. Like having survivor's remorse when it comes to my friends who lost their life to the streets and drugs and whatever. I thought I was grieving, but I wasn't. I was feeling guilty because I made it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time to just accept the fact that I got another chance at life. You know, with my best friend doing 43 years, I'll never get to see him again.
Never
And
say never.
I never get to see him again. If no, if he get out, it would be a hand of God, and I know that he's been gone since 2000, so he's been gone already 26 years.
Mm.
That's crazy. Um, and I felt sad for a while, and I had PTSD behind it because I would ride past his house, and some days I see him in his door. Some days I see him walking down the street, and it was just my mind playing tricks on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to counseling behind it, and they said I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder because of it. It eventually went away, but it took some time. And on that one, I felt like why he didn't say anything to me or anybody else, and why he take um, the law into his own hands per se, or just justice into his own hands, not the law, because what he did, sad.
Yeah.
He didn't just hurt himself; he hurt everybody around him and everybody who loved him. And the person he hurt, her family. You know what I mean? So, and that's another reason I don't believe in domestic violence. Not only does it hurt you, it hurt the people around you.
Yeah.
But back, read that question again. Yeah, you're right.
How do you know when what you're feeling is actually grief and not guilt disguised as grief? Because I heard you say something a couple weeks ago where you was like, you never know, you didn't know when the last time would be the last time. And you didn't want to have the shoulda, coulda, woulda, so going to seeing your mom. And like, to me, that sounds like guilt, but I was just thinking about the classes. They say that's a form of grief. You going through the process of grieving. So have you discovered if you know if it's grief or is it guilt?
I think it's a very thin line between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I was feeling guilty for my mother. I was feeling guilty for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Because they lived so close to my mom, and for them to go to the hospital, it may take 20, 25 minutes for them to get there versus me, it takes 2.5 to 3 hours to get there. So when they call, I'd be like, I want to just jump in the car and go every time they call, and I know I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling guilty because I couldn't. But my life is here in Roanoke. It's not in Richmond,
Mm-hmm.
And I had to come to terms with that. And I believe they also had to come to terms with that, because now it's like they see me trying to get there every chance I can. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm like, I don't want to go. No, I want to go if I had a plane, I'd be there every day, but I have to be okay with not being okay. You know, like
That's hard.
yeah, it's because it's like you never know when the last time will be the last time, right? And I don't have any unanswered questions when it comes to being my mom. You know, I spend a lot of time with her, and she knows everything about me. You know, and I know she would rather me be up here and staying exactly how I am versus me running to Richmond every day and losing everything I have going on now. And you know, I love my mom, and when the time comes, yes, it's gonna hurt, but we good.
Yeah.
You know, we real good. She's my baby and always gonna be my baby, so we good.
Yeah.
And I'm her sunshine and always her sunshine. So
If you say so.
yes, sir.
So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about grief, especially after losing someone to addiction, suicide, or unexpected death? I know for me, they think that like if they see you smiling and laughing that you're over it.
That's totally wrong.
I think, or I feel like, because there's people that like when I lost my brother, my youngest brother, I cried, but it was like I had to stay focused. Like I couldn't get too deep into it. It was like I had to stay focused. You know.
And the thing about like with social media, right? How people would post pictures of the loved ones they lost or whatever, and every year around the same time that picture's gonna pop up.
Yes.
So that means what? You're gonna relive that over and over and over and over again. I don't want that. You know, all my memories, I want to be right here and right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want something to remind me of what I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And
But that's hard though, because like with my dad, losing my dad, like, you know, that was really hard. And I have a spinning image of him with my youngest son. He walks like him. He moves his hands like him. He can draw like him. And it's like sometimes and sometimes for my mom, she's like, "Oh my gosh."
but that's different. That is a living form of your father.
Yeah.
That is not a memory.
But
That
it's
is,
still hard.
I understand that, but check it out though. Should show you that he still lives on.
Mhm.
You're like everybody want to leave a legacy. If that ain't one, I don't know what it is. Like I just know that I don't want
Or
no.
when they put t-shirts, people, sorry, I ain't mean to cut you off. People's,
Right.
I have a shirt with my brothers. I have two shirts, both my brothers on it.
Yeah, but see,
And I don't wear them.
but with that, it's some bad with that also because if somebody's mad at you, the first thing they say, "I'll put you on a T-shirt."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you'll be a memory.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I, you know, I'm one of them people that's now starting to believe when somebody passed, you're supposed to celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, especially if they pass at an old age and they've seen it all. Why am I gonna be so stuck in being sad and down instead of celebrating all the good times, all the laughs, all the holiday, all the just like all the good that this person has brought into my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know it's gonna be hard to get to that point, but trying to prepare myself for that point is what I'm trying to work on now. I'm not thinking as they're already gone. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do when they do go. Cause seeing my mom in the hospital, that almost killed me.
Something just came to mind. I think that, you know, in the world we work in, where it comes to, hearing about people overdosing and dying, there is this like, you kind of don't know how the family's going to respond or how they are responding. You get some family members that's angry. You get some family members that do have the guilt of, I should have, could have, would have. Or you have the family members that's just kind of like, oh, well. I feel like I don't know, because you can't tell people like how to feel, but I feel like for me, I feel like it has to be like at least I know they're not suffering no more. What about you? What you think? It's a tricky one. That's a hard one.
Then this is the one right here. Like, do you have how many times my mom told me that she was glad I had got locked up because now she can sleep at night? Hey, I understand though, because I could only imagine what I put that woman through, mentally. And when she used to come see me, it was like, I'm still her little kid, her little boy, whatever, but she was like, boy, I can sleep at night now. I know where you are, So, I don't know if she had guilt or grief then, but I knew one thing, she had a peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody OD is like, or die like, a horrible death or whatever, if there's that bad, they might be, I know for one, they're in a better place, but for that family, it may put them in a better place because worry will kill you. Mm-hmm. And some people can't handle it. And I wouldn't want to worry somebody for 30 plus years, off and on. I can only imagine what I put my mom through.
Yeah.
So 3 years into this, she got to see me get it right, And that's the only thing like I can hold on to, because I'm finally working on getting it right,
Yeah.
So
what are some signs that unresolved guilt has become unhealthy and is keeping someone stuck instead of healing?
You got the degree.
I want to hear from you.
That's crazy.
I got 1 degree, working on 2.
Hey, I don't have not one. I don't have a degree. We'll have 1 in 3 years. 2 would have 3 years. Maybe 2, possible 2. All right. I was so busy trying to respond.
See, we get sidetracked.
My bad.
What are some signs that unresolved guilt has become unhealthy and is keeping someone stuck instead of healing?
Keep talking about it, thinking about it, bringing it up. That's the worst. Living in the past.
But again, that can cross over to a healthy part, because they always say in order to heal, you have to feel, and in order to feel, you gotta keep talking about it.
Yeah, but if you don't never heal, you can continue to feel it. You gotta work through it. Get a therapist, counselor, somebody to help you get through grief counseling, something. Because if not, you can be stuck. Like the person who loses their better half when they pass away, and they never date again. And they passed away when he was 20 and she was 20 years later. Vice versa. And they've never dated again. That's terrible. You know that person in heaven or wherever they are don't want you to be by yourself.
Yeah.
I think just letting it relive itself over and over again, like Groundhog Day, right? With Groundhog Day, is like the worst for me.
So, do you think it's healthy for people to like do the different celebrations where they get like cakes and stuff each year, or they, go release the balloons and go to the?
First off, it's illegal to release balloons. So, hey, I just want to throw that out there. If it's what helps them get through, I can dig it. Just for me, I don't think that I could do it. Like, I don't think I could just go visit a grave every year.
Yeah, no.
So, I don't know. My dad passed in 1988, and I haven't seen his grave since then. So, I don't, you know. I don't know. What you think?
So I have my dad's ashes. Um, and at first when like
Hold on. You still have the ashes?
my grandma gave me his ashes, she didn't want to hold on to them. It was a part of her grief. She gave me the ashes.
Why you haven't scattered them?
Um, because I didn't know if that's what for one, it's really hard to get into it. For two, I didn't know if that's actually what I want to do. Like, I have not actually sat down to think, like, what do I want to do with the ashes?
Okay.
But yes, I still have my dad's ashes. Um, and to be very transparent, for a while, once I got them, I used to sit and talk to them. I did. I'm being honest.
And that's the reason you should have got rid of them. I'm serious.
I used to sit and talk and just be like, just have a normal conversation.
So where they at?
They're up in the upstairs in a little cabinet thing.
Okay. Oh man.
But I don't know. Like, I can't tell somebody how to heal. And if that's something that helps them heal, then definitely do it. But I think that you have to develop healthier ways, and it shouldn't be something that you make other people do. Like, I wouldn't sit and make my kids talk to their granddaddy.
Well, I want to be cremated. But I don't want nobody to hold on to mine. Throw me in the yard, in the river, anywhere. I don't want to be stuck in no canister when I could be released back into the world. You know what I'm saying? Don't that make sense?
Some people want you to stay close to them.
They didn't tell you that. That's what you telling yourself that. I'm serious. You know? Like, it's like wearing dead people clothing.
Now, that's a little too far.
What's the difference?
That's a little too far.
You got a dead man suit or dressing in your closet, and then at nighttime start doing.
You know what?
It's got energy. I'm just saying. Some people hold on to the people that passed away belongings.
Yes,
because
I have.
They can't let go. At
You
that
know,
moment.
that's one of the main things that also causes families to divide. Is their family belongings.
I have a friend that her daughter passed away, and she kept her room the same way.
I know people like, and you can't step in there and don't move anything.
Yep. And I was just like, man, that's gotta be hard, and to walk past that every day. You know, yeah.
I don't know.
Next question.
What would you tell people that are currently, like, family members or friends that are currently going through the same thing that you're going through? Because you already know what the end is going to be. So what would you tell them about grief and support? I mean, grief and guilt.
There's like a 2-part kind of answer. The spiritual man would tell them to keep praying, keep believing, keep having faith, that God gonna do what God gonna do. You know, it's out of your hands. You know.
Is that hard? I know when people tell me it's out of your hands, that's hard for me because I'm a fixer.
At first, it was hard until I got closer to God. You know, and started praying for no reason. You know, I wasn't praying for him to save my mom. I'm praying to him because I want him to be him. You know, I pray for my mom every day. You know, 2 or 3 times a day I pray, whatever. But normally I don't ask for anything. I just thank God for being God. And the most important thing, I thank God for saving me. In the midst of everything going on, the only thing I can say is, God, thanks for saving my life. Because if He hadn't, there's no telling that I would be here even to go through this stuff. And just being a true believer, you know, is the best thing I've ever did in my life was to believe in God. You know, I used to say I believed in God, but I don't believe I ever really truly believed Him until now. You know, rumor has it I might be a deacon coming up. You know, I'm just saying, who would ever thought? You know, why you say, "Oh Lord"?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. You supposed to be like, you what? Yeah, you should be like, oh, you done heard it too many times. That's what you're saying. All right. But yeah, I might be a deacon. I'm gonna be a deacon, but I wasn't expecting for this to happen as soon as this happened. I've been going to church probably about 2 years now. But they see the growth, I guess, and they see the spiritual growth, you know. Not just like growing as a person, just your spirituality growing where somebody else can recognize it. So when you go somewhere, you are that light because they can see something different about you that ain't everybody else don't have. And that's why people gravitate towards you because they want whatever they see you got. They may not know exactly what it is, but they know whatever they got, I want that. That's why you get these random conversations. That's why people open up to you, share their problems. You know, too much giving is much is required, and you got a hell of a task at hand, Miss Destiny. Yes, amen.
How do forgiveness and self-compassion play a role in releasing guilt without forgetting the person or the experience?
First off, you said this won't gonna be like my birthday, but it's exactly like my birthday. I'm answering all the questions. Read it again. I was so busy thinking about what is going on and happening to me in real time.
You need to watch this movie called Up, and there's a little dog on there that he be talking, and he like, "Duh, squirrel."
That's me.
That's you.
All right, hit me again.
How do forgiveness and self-compassion play a role in releasing guilt without forgetting the person or the experience? Because you've always talked about how you had friends pass away and you ask yourself, why wasn't that me? So how does forgiveness and self-compassion play a role in that?
At first, there was no self-compassion. It wasn't anything, just a feeling of guilt or remorse or whatever. And now it's like, if I want somebody or even God to give me grace, I have got to give myself some grace. You know, and look at the picture for what it is. Like, everybody make mistakes. Some people are fortunate enough to correct those mistakes. Some people be taken out by those mistakes. And I have personally been one of the people who was fortunate, like really fortunate to correct some of them. You know, I know I have more to fix, but that's only in God's time. And maybe I won't ever fix them, but I will become all right without fixing them. You know, I don't know. That's a touchy question right there. You know, what do you think? Or were these questions? Hold on. Were these questions really designed for me?
No, I just typed them up to have some questions. So I think forgiveness is the hardest part when you're dealing with grief and guilt, because, you know, like, I'm just thinking about when I lost my brother. I felt like I could have did more, and I also was angry at some of the things that took place. And I had to forgive the people that I knew who played a part, which was very hard for me. Because I'm a type of person, when the Bible says vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I want to take vengeance into my own hands, and I know how I'm going to play it out. And it's that's something that I've had to work on when people have hurt me, is forgiving them and not allowing anger and frustration to overtake me, because I know what it can do for me. My grandma did 32 years in prison for murder. And I know that if I allow it to consume me, what will be the end result?
So how do you get past of forgiving the person who's died when you blame them? Why did you leave me?
Ooh.
You know, that type of thing. Like, you shouldn't have left me. You know, you're angry at the person who passed away.
So I had that a lot with my dad, because, you know, he died from HIV complications, and I felt like, why didn't he take the necessary medications and stuff to live a longer life?
What year did he pass away?
2008.
They didn't have the type of medications they have now.
So there was things that he could have did, and to my understanding, he didn't want to do it. But my dad was never a medication, go to the doctor person. He was always the, I'm going to do it my way. I'm a home remedy it.
All right, then check this out. Your father chose not to take the medications they had back then to have a long life. Now, look at this today. With the medications they got, you still have people that refuse to take them.
Yeah.
To live a better life.
And I do feel like, so I had years of anger, because, you know, when I started having kids and all this stuff, and, you know, some of the stuff I went through in life after him, my mom used to always say, if your daddy was alive, you wouldn't have to go through that. But I feel like he had to leave because I was a daddy's girl. So a lot of the stuff I went through, I probably wouldn't have went through, because he would have been Captain Save-A-Ho. I wouldn't say Captain Save-A-Ho. He would have been Superman. He would have been like, this ain't happening. You know, like, we ain't about to have this happen. But I think that without him being here, do I wish he was here so he could see my kids, he could meet my kids, and see, like, he has little mini, you know, his legacy has lived on? Yes. But a lot of the things I would have went through, I had to go through it, and I wouldn't have been able to go through it if he was here.
Real quick. Get tested. Know your status.
Yes.
Especially in the black community, we had the highest rate of cases of HIV/AIDS than any other people. So look, know your status. You know, I get tested every year.
Yes, so, it's important.
It's important.
Because, you know, we still live in this. And I was also angry because when I knew...
Hold on. And the best way to prevent it is to not have sex.
Squirrel. See? Squirrel.
Oh, my bad.
I was also angry because I knew how he contracted it. And that person lived long enough to see their grandkids, their kids and grandkids. And I was like, that's really messed up. And to the point... they were still having kids, and they got them taken away, but they were still having kids. And so I was upset about it. And I had to really release.
You always got to look at the part that they played in it also.
Yeah. And that's where my growth journey came, because I had to realize, like, he wasn't just a innocent bystander. You know, he was somebody that played a part. They both played a part in it. Yeah. And so I think that's where growth comes in to help with the forgiveness and the compassion.
Now did you say that? When we first started the podcast and all that, right? You was a part of a lot of boards of doing different stuff.
Yes.
But you never said anything for being an activist for HIV and AIDS. And you are the person that they need to hear that come from.
So, you know, that's a great That's a great point because I have not thought about it. I haven't. And for a while, so I didn't learn that my dad died from HIV complications until I was pregnant with my oldest son.
Wow.
He demanded that we did not, his kids did not know. So that my oldest brother didn't learn that he had passed away until a year after he had passed away. Oh, that's a whole episode. Don't get me started. And so my brother really struggled. Really, really, really struggled. Because he was the oldest. And there was a lot of things he was just like, why did he not tell us? But I get it, because back then, if you had HIV, everybody thought. And it wasn't even like that. Mm-hmm. And so my brother, to find out my dad had passed away after he had did basic training. He had went to boot camp and then he went to basic training. And then to find out how he passed away, it was hard. It was hard. And so I never thought about, being on that type of board I definitely advocate for no, don't. And I started advocating for that when I was a CNA because we would have individuals come in with Hep C, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just glove up, glove, mask up. If you get any bodily fluids on you, go get checked out. But I think learning that he passed away from HIV made me even more aware that it don't matter, and my OB is very vocal about this. He says, I don't care if you've been married for 20 years, get checked. Mm-hmm. Because you just never know.
You never know.
And so, and it just makes me have that hard conversation with my boys. Like, I don't care if she's the flyest thing out here. Don't trust it.
That's crazy.
So I've never thought about that, but you never know.
The reason I ask you is because we're going to do the overdose awareness thing, and me going may be a little different than you going, because I have OD'd and came back, thank God, and 2, I've seen a lot of people lose their lives to it. So when I'm in there, it hits me a little different. I can actually do more for that than I do.
It hits me different because every year they do a news segment. My brother's picture is right there and I can see it. And so every year I've gone, the first year was hard. It was actually hard for my mom too, and I try to get my stepmom to go, but she's just not there to go. She's very vocal about what happened, but she's just not there to go and face that. So my mom, the first year she went, it was hard for her. It was hard for the both of us. The second year, I was good until this girl sung the Hallelujah song.
Which year was that?
That was a couple years ago.
Which?
You were there.
I was at the first table?
Yes.
Yep, I was there.
And I didn't get to go last year.
She sung a song?
Mm-hmm.
And where was I?
I don't know.
I stayed the whole time.
So, it is different, but to see the different people that's in there and the different stories, I know that, but I don't go in there feeling like I'm the only one, because there's other stories in there that I'd be like, okay.
I think this year when we go, it's gonna be different versus.
Yeah, because we're vending.
Yeah, but the first one I went to, I had just left treatment. Mm-hmm. It was real fresh. I was just wanting to be involved and stay clean, versus being a vendor and have a story to tell. When the people from the treatment centers come in, I know that feeling. Mm-hmm. And who would ever thought that I'll be a part of something that's getting bigger and bigger, but it's getting bigger for the right reasons, you know. I just want to thank you for helping me get to this point, for allowing me to be a part of the podcast.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
So I
really
got one
appreciate
last question for
it.
you.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
If someone listening today feels trapped by guilt over a loss, what is one truth you hope they walk away with before this episode ends? I feel like for me, it's what we always preach and say on and try to get through on each episode. There's hope on the other side. Don't allow it to drag you down.
So what I always say.
You sell hope? You don't be selling help?
No, when I be going through my mess and I be like, the phrase that I hate saying, but I always say it.
Oh, go ahead and say it.
Now you say it.
No.
Hey.
That's your saying.
Trust the process. I mean, that's all we can do. We can't do anything but trust it. Like, when you don't know what else to do, you just gotta let go and let God and just trust that everything will be all right. And I advise you, if you're not ready to have to trust it, don't say trust the process.
So let me ask you this, because I had someone in treatment just admitted that day and got a call their son had passed away. What would you tell them? Somebody in treatment and they get that call, because some people are court ordered to be there and they cannot leave unless a judge says you can leave, because they got a nice little bracelet on they. We had somebody come right the day they checked in was the day they found out their son passed away. What would you tell them when they already hanging on by a thread?
To sit still, and if you don't know what to do, don't do anything at all. Talk to somebody and get the right information, and don't talk to somebody that don't have their best interest at heart, because they're not going to give them what they need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then trust the process. In that situation, I believe that person was in the best place they could possibly be, than to be wherever they was using, because who's to say they wouldn't overdo it and then they be in a casket right beside their child.
Yeah.
And, I can say that because I haven't been through that, but I can also say that because I really do believe in things happen for the right reason.
Yeah.
Regardless of how bad it may be. When your time's up, if you're going to heaven, it's because God calls you. And you can't get around that. Like when I OD'd, when I seen the black light, it wasn't my time. God allowed me to come back to be a blessing to somebody else. Yeah. So, in all that, trust the process.
Well, I'm glad that you're back on our episodes. And
first off, I may not have been in front of the camera, but I was always around that camera. So
you
don't be trying
stuff.
to
You was doing some stuff.
No, you try to make it sound like I've been missing in action or something. When I've been watching y'all do the episode, you probably
know what? You did 2 episodes in June by yourself.
Wow.
While I was out here celebrating my birthday. See?
And there will be more shorts, by the way. So check us out. I'm coming back, y'all.
Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Blinded Truth Podcast, Truth Shot. If today's conversation challenged you, comforted you, or helped you recognize the difference between grief and guilt, don't let it stop here. Healing begins when we're honest about what we're carrying. Grief deserves to be felt, but guilt doesn't have to become your permanent address. Remember, you are allowed to heal, you are allowed to forgive yourself, and you are allowed to move forward while still honoring what you've lost. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who may need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, so you never miss a conversation that could change your perspective. Until next time, remember your destiny is by choice, not by chance. And until next time, keep walking in your truth. Bye.